Hey, FlimsyLunchTray here, and welcome to World of Warships. And it finally happened, as perhaps you're seeing from the title of the video, depending on how exactly I title it. But I just took a 15-day break from World of Warships. I was spending time in the US with my family and just vacation time in general, doing some fun stuff. And I decided that I was just going to take all those 15 days off from playing World of Warships. Granted, I had my gaming laptop with me. I could have played a little bit if I wanted to, but I decided, hey, let's just take one of those breaks that I like doing from every year from World of Warships, multiple breaks every year from World of Warships. And it finally happened. I didn't miss World of Warships. Usually when I take these 5-day breaks, these 7-day breaks, these 2-week breaks from the game, I end up missing playing World of Warships at the end of those breaks. And for me, that's always been a sign of how I have been doing in relationship with the game. Like if it's still bringing me enjoyment, I'm still overall doing good, positive vibes, so on and so forth. But as I was getting ready to fly back, like the day before, from the US back to Norway, I realized like, wow, I haven't been missing playing World of Warships. If anything, I've just been playing Helldivers 2, American Truck Simulator. I played a little bit of that. Some Red Alert, Command and Conquer. But mainly I was just missing Helldivers 2. And then it finally hit me. Like, I finally hit that point where I don't really miss out on playing the game anymore. So I've always tried to be... I'm a very observant, very reflective person. And so one of the reasons in particular why I've been paying attention to myself in relation to perhaps having this, like, I don't know if it's necessarily burnout with the game, is because I've seen other content creators become, World of Warship content creators who've become more burned out with the game. Particularly people have been playing the game longer than I have. Like I started playing in fall of 2019, I think in October roughly. So I'm about to hit 6 years of playing the game. But watching these content creators, or maybe even new community contributors, come into the program, and then let's say anywhere from a year to several years, just watching the shift in the tone in their voice, or maybe they're very positive, they're very outgoing with World of Warships, with wargaming, and then getting to this point where they don't feel that anymore. Or they just left the game entirely. So like people that come to my mind as an example would be people like Flambas. I think Trendlast is still doing relatively well overall. I haven't watched any recent video where he said something more negative about the game or just not enjoying it as much. You have people like Mr. Gibbs, who got very fed up with wargaming, and just Solitude. I think he was someone who played, if I remember that his name right, who like played in King of the Sea tournaments and that, in like 6 months and like never got paid out for the winnings with his team, with his clan. And just, along the lines, other people, even people like who were more active in the forums in the old day, like Little White Mouse and others who just over time become increasingly infatuated with World of Warships, but let's say more with wargaming due to their decisions, their PR disasters, development items within the game, so on and so forth. So I've watched that shift take place, even like potato quality, I would say. I think he was on a stream with, I think it was Gang and Flamu, Gangbrang and Flamu were playing, and he was chiming in on the chat, or he was in the comms or something, and just hearing his tone towards the game, towards wargaming compared to earlier when he started doing more of his content creation journey. So it's been fascinating for me to just watch these various people in the World of Warships community in the content creation category or community contributors who've just slowly become fed up with the game, walked away, and even players in the game who were like, like, it's amazing how many times I'll watch like a Twitch stream, or I'll be watching a YouTube video, some new dumb thing come into the game, and I'm a big on comment reading. And surprisingly, I don't even have a Reddit account. But going through the comments and just seeing people like, I haven't played this game in 2 years, and it's one of the best decisions I've ever made. Like, wow, like that's quite like the quite the shock and awe to just be like so adamant. I don't know if the word's adamant. English is harder for me as the more I live in Norway. But just watching people in the community who used to be really enjoy the game now just be outright like, I'm so happy I'm no longer tied to that toxic game. And some of their words and what they have said. So with that being said, I kind of want to transition into more of my thoughts, like, and having more reflective, like honest tone and do some critical thinking here. And kind of posing this question to myself, if I'm interviewing myself now, like, why is it flimsy after 5.5 years, almost 6 years of playing World of Warships? Why is it feel like I no longer miss the game? Like, to the extent, like, this is shocking to me, like, and this is my honest answer. Like, if I stopped playing World of Warships today, would I be okay with that? And my answer would be yes. It actually wouldn't bother me if I stopped playing World of Warships today and never touched the game again. Like, to me, that's startling, but I know that's in my mind, and like, let's say even in my heart, like, I know that's where I'm at the state of my relationship with the game. Like, that's literally where I'm at right now. But I want to be clear, like, I'm not going anywhere. Like, I'm going to keep playing the game for now. And I expect I'll probably still have content with World of Warships for the next several years, at least, still, unless something like major happens with Wargaming, or maybe they just do something so irate, so dumb, that I just can't take them anymore and want to wash my hands of Wargaming, of World of Warships. But for now, I'm quite positive I'll still be playing the game, and I'll talk more about post this reflective process. So now I just kind of asking the question, why is it do I feel like I could just walk away from the game and not care anymore for the game? I care for about the community, but not as I don't really care as much for wargaming. But I care for the community, and I have mixed feelings with the game itself. So it's kind of like a plethora of perspectives of my own opinions in this. So let's start with, if I try to remember this correctly, number one, this is just me ad-libbing off the top of my head. The game that I fell in love with doesn't exist anymore. That's probably sums up the entirety of everything else I say. But it's true. Like, when I came into World of Warships, it was right after the I would say the CV rework, but then people have been playing the game long like me who say, which CV rework are you talking about, Flimsy? I'm talking about the big one where they went from the RTS playstyle where you were like viewing the map and you're directing all your planes, and you could have multiple squadrons attack a ship simultaneously, and you could one-shot a carrier. But as I talked with one of my friends who's played the game even longer than me, he was like, you would own, during the RTS CV days, at least on the NA, he's like, you could go 2 weeks and not see a CV, and when there was a CV, like, people were just instantly complaining and say, hey, we'll get out of your way, you can go kill our carrier, basically, right? To now where it's like you can have, double CV games, hybrid CVs with Dutch air ships, and I'll get into that shortly. But the game I fell in love with just no longer exists. For 2024, I've talked about how I felt World of Warships was called, if I would change the name of the game, I would call it World of Gimmicks. In 2025, I would title World of Warships as World of Pixie Dust, because of, I think we have over, I know we have at least over 30 ships in the game with the gimmick button, and I'm referencing the F key when I say that. But I wouldn't be surprised if we're actually over 40 now, maybe up towards 50 ships in the game. It's probably over 40. I really hope it's not over 50. We have all these gimmick boats. The most gimmick thing I remember when I first started playing the game, because you don't really get into the gimmicks and the pixie dust up until It used to be tier 8. Now you can hit it, I think, as soon as tier 6, if I remember correctly, because I think the tier 6 Pan American cruiser gets a funny button, if I recall correctly. But generally, it's not really till tier 8 through super ship. Right? I remember a time when World of Warships didn't have super ships, or tier 11, but they didn't have super ships. Like, they had their own game mode. I don't remember what the name of that game mode was. It's a different temporary battle type, but Wargaming likes using temporary battle types as a disguise to implement whatever thing they want to put into random clan battles, co-op, and operations, so on and so forth, right? It's tale as old as time now. I'm playing the game over 5.5 years. But back to what I was saying, with just seeing how you have so many more ships with a funny button, like the most gimmick thing I recall would be like the main battery reload booster, like maybe you get like a 25 or 50% boost in reloading your main battery, right? And then you had burst fire, then you had Satsuma with like decreasing the shell dispersion, and this is back in the days where Thunderer was viewed as a toxic ship. FDR, Nakhimov, and like now you don't really hear those ships being called toxic ships. Like I think Nakhimov is still quite toxic. Like it's nothing like being stationed up on an island. Nakhimov rocket planes come flying around the other side of the island, line up a strike in 20 KU. That's enjoyable. I only had like 8 seconds warning by the time I spotted him and he lined up to strike. So those ships, you don't hear us complaining about the OG ships anymore. It's all these new gimmick boats. It's all these new pixie dust ships that just make no sense in the game. Like what I would really like to see in World of Warships, and I probably need to dedicate a whole video to this, is a PvP game mode that has the classic ships, classic warships, right? You could call it, call it classic randoms, and then you just have randoms. Randoms, any ship can be played. Classic randoms is the classic warships in the game that do not have a funny button, that are not experimental ships, that are not Dutch BS airstrikes, that's not hybrid ships with planes. Just the classic ships of World of Warships, like let's say from back in we'd have to go back to 2022 and before, because I think subs came in 2023 if I remember, but like you could say 2022, 2021, 2020, something like that. Like that's classic randoms, and only these ships are allowed, where all these gimmick and BS mechanic boats, gimmick boats, pixie dust boats aren't allowed. That would be really fun. That would help me so much because I like playing randoms, but I'm really getting sick and tired of randoms anymore because of the gimmicks and because of the pixie dust, right? So I remember a day when you didn't have experimental ships. I remember a day you didn't have submarines in the game. I remember a day you didn't have super ships. If I didn't already say that, you didn't have hybrid ships. So the game I fell in love with just doesn't exist anymore. And I can choose to be okay with that, or I can choose not to be okay with it. And it's like, it's hard to continue loving something that no longer exists, right? It's just gone. So that's the big thing for me. Otherwise, if I'll just kind of try to shotgun some other bullet points in my mind. One would be wargaming as a developer. The development decisions they make in the game, whether we're talking about submarines, aircraft carriers, gameplay mechanics like spotting. That's super annoying. And also their poor treatment of people over the years, whether we're talking about community contributors, previous staff, other content creators, even blacklisting some without saying anything. And the treatment, like, the community contributor exodus, the Little White Mouse incident, like, that's really hard to support a game where the developer, there are people in the company, not all of them, who are scummy. Like, let's just be honest. Like, scummy tactics don't really care about people. They only care about money. There are people like that in wargaming. And there are also people in wargaming who are fantastic people. They really care about the community. They really care about the game, right? So I can't just paint a black and white type of paintbrush scenario here. Like, it's somewhere in the middle, right? Other development decisions, monetization. Monetization is crazy, insane level compared to back in 2020. I think it was fall 2020 when I started my YouTube content creation journey, if I recall correctly. And the amount of new currencies, the amount of, you know, the event passes, the early access. Like, I'm pretty sure you could use to play early access, when a new tech tree came to the game, you could, like, there was no way to, like, physically buy the new tech tree line that was going to come to the game 2 minutes later for free, right? Because they integrated that more and more, and I'm a little bit blurry in my memory. Like, I don't even remember, like, I don't know if early access was even a thing in the game now, because I'm just so confused as the years go by. So that of monetization, World of Warships, is like, I mean, when I saw it, like, I called this one right, and probably some people viewed me as a conspiracy theorist on this. So when we first started having destruction effects in the game, I said back then that this is something Wargaming will monetize, and they monetized it. Like, paying thousands of doubloon for a specific ship explosion. I mean, hey, people are buying it, cool, but it's just like, what would the links to this company go to monetize things? I mean, permanent camouflages and permanent economic boosters on the ship were at one point tied together, and then they separated them. More money. So monetization is a big one, or one as well. Seeing that World of Warships feels a lot more like World of Warplanes. I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if Wargaming pulled World of Warplane staff into World of Warships to focus on the more airfare aspect of World of Warships. You know, like, I remember a time when we just had aircraft carriers. Only aircraft carriers. Now we have hybrid battleships, hybrid cruisers, hybrid destroyers. You better believe, like, I will not be shocked at all the day when they introduced that, as it called this, I don't even remember, I'm probably wrong on this, but there's a submarine that had aircraft on it. Was it like this Sucloth? Maybe that was one with the main battery turret on or something. Where I have hybrid submarines. Like, I'm just waiting for that day. It's probably in the near future, 2026, let's be honest, if not before. Dutch airstrikes, among, you know, it used to be, it started with the Golden Lion line, and then you had the Dutch light cruiser line, and then you got these new and improved airstrikes, like on Prins van Oranje, the new Dutch battleship that's either for research bureau points or steel, I don't remember, that hit 15 kilometers out and have a lot of penetration on those particular ships. You know, so being 20K, 30K, or I remember when Golden Line divisions were the meme and just getting dropped into oblivion. Yeah. I remember a time without so much of that in the game. I remember a time of playing without submarines. You know, I'm glad they fixed it now, but when shotgunning was a thing, and Wargaming was like, shotgunning is not a problem in our video game, and it's like, then watching, I'm not trying to speak ill of him, but watching Bogsy then, like, on that stream get shotgunned, like, and then just seeing his reaction on his face, like, yep. I remember when you could get combat signals via achievements, right? So if you got, how did that work? If you got a close quarters kill achievement, then I think you got the secondary combat signal boost. If your ship detonated, like back when detonation was the thing, you'd get Juliet Charlie combat signals, which completely eliminates the risk of your ship's magazine detonating. And then having a certain community manager say that people were farming det flags via that achievement. Like, who wants to detonate? Like, you're so out of touch with the game, man. So like, you can get combat signals just by getting achievements in the game. That was really nice. Like, there was more things that were more accessible in the game, and now this kind of draws back into the monetization aspect, where they've put more things behind more paywalls, or it's more, they cited inflation in their game. Okay, you're the developer, you can set the tone for that, whatever. But I remember a time when you didn't have all these, so much aircraft in the game. Like, I love being chased down, being torpedoed and struck repeatedly by a tromp, while at the same time a submarine is pinging away, while damage control parties are almost to the point that I feel worthless in the game. The same company that thought that, hey, like, what if we use these planes that would drop strikes on a ship and disable your damage control party to the extent that you could stack it, where your cooldown would be delayed. And there was some testing footage that came out, or it was a clip, and it showed that cooldown, I think it was over 30 minutes before you get it back, right? Wargaming thought that might be a good idea. Can you imagine not having your damage control party in World of Warships 2025? Like, come on. It's crazy. So I would just have to say, to cap it, and then to wrap up the video, is like, the game I fell in love with just doesn't exist anymore. And that's why I think ultimately I don't miss, if I stop playing World of Warships tomorrow, I wouldn't bat an eye. Like, I honestly wouldn't care. But I really like doing the YouTube channel. Specifically, I like the community. I like having a way to be a creator. I like it. It's fun. I like the community. I have mixed feelings towards the game. I like it and I don't like it. And I don't like the developer so much anymore. So that's what I would say on that end. So going forward, as I said already, I'm going to keep doing World of Warships content. Like, I'm going to keep playing the game. I mean, honestly, like, this isn't like the end. Like, if I say it's the end, like, I'll have a video title that says like the end for World of Warships or whatever. In terms of me no longer playing the game, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to keep playing the game for several years. Like, I don't feel that abused yet. I can take some more abuse, I think, play World of Warships for a few more years, unless Wargaming does something miraculously stupid, but they really like to have these hold my beer moments, in my opinion. So I'm really just going to be focusing a bit more on writing a list out of things that I find enjoyable about World of Warships and focus on those things. Like, you can always decide your perspective, right? I could take a very negative stance and say, the game I fell in love with doesn't exist anymore, and because of that, I'm not going to play, because I'm only focusing on the negative things. Well, there's also positive things. Like, there are certain aspects that Wargaming is doing well. Do I feel like that's in the majority? No, I'd say that's in the minority of decisions that they make. Like, they have some good hits every now and then, but most of the time it's just like, set expectations low. So I'm still enjoying the game to an extent, so I'm just going to be focusing on the things that I enjoy more about the game. I might be getting into doing some more player review videos, in the sense that the player review videos are to help players in the game get better. I'm not really interested in showcasing, hey, look, I did amazing in this game. Cool. Great for you, but I'm more focused on trying, like, I've even said it early in my journey as a content creator for World of Warships, is like, I'm much more interested in, like, being fun with the game, having fun content, but also trying to help the player base. Like, that's why I do the new player guide series, intermediate player guide series, veteran player guide series, all which I have videos in mind for. I just need to get to working on those now that my summer break, and I had a lot of work this summer. with other commitments I had, so I haven't been consistent on those. The ship futures, you know, the Friday highlights, the Saturday upgrade commander build videos that I like to do, so on and so forth. So I'm probably going to be doing maybe some more player review videos. I've already been talking with a guy in my NA clan who wants some help. I think it's a Lightning, the tier 8 British destroyer, if I recall correctly. So I'm probably going to have a video or two for him, just kind of walking through some of the decisions he makes. So just trying to, more things like that. I get more enjoyment from those types of things than just grinding ship lines, if you will. And I've grinded most ship lines in the game now anyhow. It's just some of the submarine lines that I free XP'd all of them. I just need to get some more credits and buy them. So I'm going to be focusing on making a list of things that are more fun for me, what I enjoy about the game, what I enjoy about the community. Focus on those things, have a positive, healthy perspective versus one of just being negative towards the game. And you guys have probably noticed over the last several months that my tone maybe has somewhat changed, or I've had more videos than normal and criticizing wargaming or sharing my unhappiness with the game in some way or fashion. So I'm going to try to be focusing a little bit more on what I still like about the game, but I'm still going to voice my reactions if I feel like there are things that are not well with the game from time to time. So that being said, I would be really fascinated to hear from you all, whether you're a new player, whether you're a veteran player, whether you're a player who no longer who played World of Warships at one time but no longer play it. You know, like, why did you leave the game? Or if you're a veteran player or a new player, like, what is it you're really liking about the game? Maybe you're a veteran, you're someone like me who's played the game for 5.5 years, but you actually still really like World of Warships. Like, you really like the game. You really like wargaming's decisions and the way they're going with the game. Hey, if that's you, hats off. Like, I'm not going to be unhappy with you. Like, each entitled to their own perspective and opinions, right? It's my opinion, and I don't force my opinions on others or beliefs for that matter. So let me know in the comments, just how are you doing with World of Warships? Are you still finding it fun, or is it becoming more stressing to you as of late? So if you liked today's video, give a thumbs up. If you didn't, give a thumbs down. Subscribe if you want to see more. If you're subscribed, thanks so much. I appreciate it. Thank you to my Patreon supporters. Until next time, take care.